Hi, my name is Sophia Wormling, and I will be using the sociological tools that I've learned over the semester to describe social facts within my own life. The first social fact that has shaped my life is where I grew up. I was born in the city of Chicago and later moved to the suburbs. On the surface, my family moved due to lack of space in our small city home and cheaper living costs to the suburbs, but through a sociological perspective, the places that I've lived are a powerful social fact that reflect the housing policies and transportation systems and overall segregation within the city. Chicago developed as an industrial center, originally drawing families in through the Industrial Revolution for jobs and opportunities. However, as cities became more clustered, many families, like mine, moved to the suburbs that were better suited for car transportation, schools, and overall space. This reflects broader patterns of urbanization and suburbanization, not just an individual preference of my family. Chicago, we learned, is unfortunately one of the most racially and economically segregated cities in the U.S. Due to historical facts like redlining and white flight. Unfortunately, my family does fall under the category of being part of that white flight, as we moved from a majority Hispanic neighborhood to a predominantly white neighborhood in the suburbs. Even if that wasn't our intention, it just is another underlining social fact with our move. Moving to the suburbs gave me and my siblings access to better funded schools, safer neighborhoods, and more educational opportunities, and shows how these institutions are connected. We learned that schools are tied to property taxes, meaning that where you live directly shapes your education. This can reflect as where I live, as I do happen to border nicer neighborhoods and go to their school. So the overall wealth of my surrounding neighborhoods reflects in the better opportunities provided at my school. The social fact of me living in the city and then the suburbs reflect on structure versus agency. As while my family made the decision to move through the individual agency, it was enabled by larger systems. Another major social fact in my life is my familial structure. I come from a large family and I'm the oldest girl and was raised primarily by a single mom. I have learned this semester that family is not only the first social institution we are in, but it reflects broader economic and gender norms. If I had grown up in a pre-modern society before divorce was accepted, my life would look very different. Women back then were not given rights to their property or their children. So if that were the case now, my whole life would have looked a lot different. It would have been in the custody of my father. He would have had the house. Aside from divorce, being the oldest girl carried specific gender expectations and rules. I was expected to be responsible, set a good example, and watch my siblings. According to our rules, our notes regarding gender norms, these roles are established as more feminine and undervalued. I had thought that these roles were normal for everyone, but after looking at throughout the semester of the definition of androcentrism, a term that we learn means that masculine labor is valued more highly than feminine labor. My experience reflects a broader pattern where women are socialized into nurturing roles earlier than boys, as my older brother was not expected to nurture my younger sisters. Another social fact about me is that my family and I identify within the middle class, a structural position that has shaped my life. Social class includes our income, our economic, social, and cultural capital. Because I am middle class, I was fortunate enough for college to be expected as my next step after high school, and that expectation presents as a social norm within middle class families, reflecting an overall unequal class structure where mobility and reaching higher education is possible for those in the lower class. But this, again, starting position matters tremendously, and your family's access to helping you within college matters. My fourth social fact is that I'm a student studying pre-nursing, which connects my life to both the education and healthcare institution and reflects overall gender roles. Nursing is a highly feminized profession, which reflects long-standing cultural and gender role beliefs that women are naturally suited for nurturing roles. I am chasing to be a nurse and then go to med school after I get my nursing degree, which, being a doctor, is a male-dominated profession, so I will be taking steps in both directions that kind of fit the typical women's gender norm and then a male gender norm. The education system itself at IU can't be described as a bureaucracy, as it is organized by rules, prerequisites, and my path to my career is structured by institutional socialization and requirements, which over time, as my classes get more specific for nursing, should socialize me into the nursing role and environment. The last social fact about me is that I have a job both in Bloomington and at home. This places me in the economy social institution, as it's defined as an organized system that responds to human needs, and the economy exists to regulate work, wages, and production. My part-time barista job is structured by scheduled pay and workplace rules. Although being a barista is not my final goal for a career, my current job is socializing me into expectations about discipline, productivity, and responsibility, which will overall socialize me and shape me to suit the role of a nurse, as I will have experience with the social structure of a job. Overall, applying the sociological imagination to my life, I've learned that many things that I just thought were personal and part of my agency, as my responsibilities, my education, and my ambitions, are actually shaped by my social surroundings and my facts. There's still agency in my life, and I still have my own self-narrative, but it's definitely been shaped by social institutions. Thank you.